Hi, welcome. Thank you for choosing to click on this video. My name is Charlotte and this is Charmed Asana. I am training to be a certified yoga instructor. So that was why I created this channel, is to practice using my voice, practice with the cueing of the poses, that sort of thing. So a little bit about me otherwise, besides the yoga. I enjoy baking very much. I also really enjoy eating my bakes. And I like to ride my bike. I actually use my bicycle as a mode of transportation, and it is definitely something in the future I will be doing a yoga for cyclists sort of deal. Not sure when, probably before May, which is when I graduate from my program, and I have to turn something in for that. I also dabble in the divination side of things, some metaphysical stuff. It's very interesting to me. So what you're going to find on this channel is yoga sessions that have been inspired by oracle cards. Oh, and I also might do some pick a card style readings. I haven't really decided. I'm super amateur with the tarot stuff as well. We'll see. But at the start of every video, except for this one, we're going to draw 2 cards from oracle decks that I own, and we will use it to inspire our yoga session. Again, that's not going to happen in this video. I super regret not doing it on camera, and you'll see why in a second. So once we've drawn our cards, I'll start us with a meditation or something to think about based on the 2 cards that I've drawn. And then we'll jump into our asana practice. This is how we do it at the instructor program. For our practicums, we have to do a session, and the last one that we do, we have to have a meditation as well. So I'm just going to roll with that to practice. And like I said, I might do pick a card style readings the following week based on those 2 cards that we drew earlier. Okay, so some disclaimers before we get started. The very first and probably the most important one, I would very much like for you to look down in the description box down below. It's just talking about how I am not a licensed professional. I cannot give you any kind of medical or any sort of advice from like a lawyer's perspective or a doctor's perspective. I am not a doctor. So that's the most important one. I have it in the description box down below. You'll also see me looking down. I have my computer right here in front of the camera, and I'm just using some notes. It's just so that I don't miss anything, like that most important, most important disclaimer. I am also an amateur, like I said before. This is a very amateur setup. So the lighting is going to change. The camera is actually going to move. I'm going to push it up and back. And I can only actually record 10 minutes at a time, which is kind of annoying. I only have a 1 gigabyte SD card at the moment. Also, my apartment is located right next to the driveway, which is right there, and some of the gates are pretty close. Like, one of the gates is right behind my bed, which is also really annoying in the morning. So you're going to hear cars going by, and you're probably going to hear doors slamming. I'm just going to roll right through it. I'm not going to stop and backtrack for that sort of thing. I would very much like for you to leave some comments with suggestions on things that I can change. I can't do a whole lot right now about the lighting, but positive affirmations and words of encouragement are also appreciated. The only thing I am not looking to hear is you suck, go away, you're a loser, or whatever. I'm just gonna completely ignore any comment like that. You're just not gonna get any acknowledgement, so save the energy from your fingers, like just move along. If you want to follow me, I do have an Instagram under the same name, so it's Instagram at Charmed Asana, CharmedAsana. And that's the only social media account I have that's associated with this. I don't even use a whole... you're going to find pictures of baked goods, things that I've baked and eaten already. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and shift the camera a little bit and we'll get started with the cards. So I'll see you in a second. Welcome back. Okay, so before we get started with the card section of the video, I just want to say a couple quick words about divination in general. There are a lot of different ways to do that sort of thing, and I see them all as a kind of tool, which is what these cards are doing for me right now. They are giving me inspiration for these yoga sessions. So if divination is something that you are not comfortable with, that's fine. But this channel is not going to be for you because, like I said before, the cards are going to inspire our sessions, and I might do pick a card style readings. So, moving on, I chose 2 decks to use for this session. The first deck is called Moonology, and it's by Yasmin Boland. And the second deck is called Earth Magic by Stephen D. Farmer. Alright, so hopefully, again, I don't have the viewfinder, so hopefully those showed up. And this is where I really wish I had not been chicken and pulled out the camera and filmed myself shuffling the deck and pulling a card. Because the very first card that I pulled was the North Node card, which is step outside of your comfort zone. And what did I say earlier? This is way outside of my comfort zone. So that, yeah, you can say I'm lying, but I promised you I'm not. I am. And then, so from the Earth Magic deck, I pulled the Fairies card, which is Earth Magic. Hopefully the glare is not too bad, so I'm going to tilt it a little bit so you can see it in different lighting. Hopefully it doesn't mess up. Anyway, okay, so I know the glare is probably really bad. I'm sorry. So if you want to sit in a meditative position, either cross-legged or just kneeling, or if you want to, you could lie down. Just don't fall asleep. Either close your eyes or rest your gaze softly on the ground in front of you. And I'm just going to read a message that I put together based on these 2 cards. So, and the message is this. So no matter when you're coming across this video, whether it's now in mid-March or in late fall of this year, fear is something that is always present in our lives, right? These last few weeks have just highlighted some of our fears as humans. We have a fear for our health, the fear for the health of our loved ones, and people we care about, the fear for our job for a few of us, for quite a few of us actually. That's a real problem right now. And the fear of isolation as well, with this whole please stay inside, practice social distancing, right? There's a lot of anxiety right now. But even without this pandemic that's going on, there's always something else that we're worried about, right? For me, it's, like right now, it's speaking in front of people. For some reason, talking in front of a camera is a little bit easier for, I don't know why, but it is. Maybe it's the same for you. Maybe you get stage fright too. Or maybe you're worried about your job without the pandemic going on. Or maybe you're worried about your family or money or your health. It's a powerful emotion, and even when it's a subtle worry that's niggling at the back of our heads, it can stop us from moving forward. It festers and it will affect our health, and it also affects our posture. So you can see right now my shoulders are actually kind of dropped forward a little bit. I'm still uncomfortable with this setup. But when we're feeling vulnerable, we start to curl up into a ball, right? Our shoulders come forward. So let's bring attention to our own posture. How are we sitting? Have you done the same thing as I have just done, where my shoulders are falling forward and I'm bending over and curling into a ball for my own protection? So let's sit tall. Let's drop our shoulders back. Maybe we'll start by rolling our shoulders a little bit and tilting our head from side to side and waking up the neck a little. So how about your thoughts? Are they just spinning around and around in circles, thinking the same thing over and over again? I really do think that these cards have showed up for a reason. Like the step outside of your comfort zone. It's time to do something different, right? Something that we're not used to. Even if we have been practicing this social distancing as the CDC is hoping that we do, if we can. Have you been sitting on a creative project maybe for a while, like I have? I've been sitting on this for probably 1 or 2 months at least. But why don't we take action, right? And then there's the fairies card. The fairies, they're nature spirits. It's said that they are the descendants from the Tuatha De Danann, and I hope I said that correct. They are supposed to be an ancient people who lived in Ireland before our ancestors arrived and chased them off. Fairies can be helpful or they can be harmful, but they are all known to be mischievous in some way. They enjoy having fun, especially if it's at the expense of us. They have the power to shapeshift and change their appearance, and they come through this card now to ask us to shape our perspective. So we want to change our focus and we want to have some fun, right? It's very hard to do that right now in this pandemic time. But instead of thinking about all the things that could go wrong, why don't we think about all the things that could go right? So we just need to recognize that stepping outside of our comfort zone and shifting our perspective can change our world. Shifting the thought that this creative project for me is probably just going to fail, it's not going to go anywhere, to, well, what do I have to lose, right? For me, there's not much to lose. Just the universe, spirit, God, again, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to call it, I'll probably use it interchangeably, spirit, the universe. It wants us to trust it. This higher, whatever is going on, this higher power, it wants us to place more trust in it. And even if you don't believe that there is a higher power, believe in yourself. Believe that you can change and destroy your fears and change your world, right? So let's take a few moments together to address our fears through yoga. We're going to work on opening up our chest. We're going to open up our hips as well. These are the two places that we hold a lot of tension, right? So let's silence our cell phones, turn off the news. We're going to unplug from the world for about 30 minutes and work on us so that we can calm our anxieties and release those fears. So I'm going to get rid of this chair and I will meet you on the mat. All right, so I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so for this practice, we're going to need some kind of a blanket. We'll actually end up rolling it up, so it doesn't have to be one of those fancy yoga blankets. You can grab a fleece blanket if you have just a blanket. It's the only prop that you will probably need for this practice. I'm going to set it, we won't need it until later though. But we're going to start standing. So we're going to come into our mountain pose, which is your feet are either going to be together or hip width distance apart, whatever is more comfortable for you. And when we bend our knees, we want our knees to go forward. So position your feet appropriately. Like for me, when I actually place my feet parallel to one another, my knees bend inward, as you can see. So I actually have to turn my feet out slightly so that my hips align, the femur bone allows my knees to bend forward. So mountain pose, you want to feel the pressure of the earth beneath your feet. So start by picking up your toes, press the ball of your big toe into the ground, and then on the outside of your feet, press that into the ground, and then you can lower your toes. And that is how you're supposed to stand. Soften the knees just slightly, and then we're going to start by rolling our shoulders up and back and down, and lifting our chin slightly. And this is our mountain pose, right? So we're going to start by warming up the spine a little bit. We'll start with the neck, and let's drop our chin towards our chest, just to stretch out the back of the neck. And just breathe here. On our next inhale, we're going to tilt our chin towards the right. We're going to look towards the right so that we are stretching out the back side muscles of our neck, the trapezius muscle. This is actually where a lot of tension headaches come from. So if you're sitting for long periods of time and your shoulders are shrugged forward, like when you're at a desk and typing all day, that's usually where your tension headaches are going to come from. So stretching out this muscle is very important. So let's come back to the center, and we'll go to the other side towards the left. Eventually I'll start practicing with the mirroring. I am not there yet. Keep breathing in here, stretching out that trapezius muscle. Any tension in the back of your neck. And return to center. And we'll inhale as we lift our head. And now we'll go ahead and tilt our head to the right. So our ear and shoulder are going to come closer together, and we're going to stretch out the side of our neck through here. We're going to breathe in there. And inhale back up to center and onto the other side. And up to center. So let's do some standing cat-cows. This is where the bent knees come into play. So we're going to bend our knees a little bit, support ourselves with our hands on our quads, and as we inhale, we are going to push our chest forward and our tailbone back and up so that we look like a cat. And as we exhale, I'll turn to the side so you can see me in a second. As we exhale, we're going to round our spine for cat. So let me turn to the side so you can see. So inhale, looking up if that's comfortable for your neck. Exhale, rounding the spine for cat, excuse me. And just go at your own pace, inhaling for cow and exhaling for cat. All right, and inhale and stand straight back in our mountain pose. So let's do some spinal extensions. So we're going to inhale and reach our arms up overhead and just keep reaching, pull, pretend somebody's grabbed at the top of your hands and your wrists and started pulling you up. Or imagine there's a string at the top of your head and somebody's pulling you. Just reach, reach, reach. And exhale everything back down. Do that a couple more times. Ready? Inhale the arms up. And reach, reach, reach. And exhale everything back down. Inhale one more time. Up. Reach just a little further. And exhale everything back down. Okay. So let's inhale our arms up overhead one more time, and we're going to clasp our hands together, and we'll just start swaying side to side, just like this. Just slowly, gently, with our breath. So it's like a metronome, right? Metronome is a way of keeping time with music. But that passage of time just reminds us that this crazy period of our time right now, it will pass as well, so don't worry. Come back to center and exhale the arms back down. All right, so we're also going to do a little bit of twisting. So let's just do some windmills. We're just loosening up the spine, and we also get to have some fun with our arms. So just let them flop around. I actually really enjoy doing this. It's kind of fun. All right, and I'm going to have to pause because of that 10-minute stoppage. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so again, thank you for your patience with this whole 10-minute cutoff. It's actually good because I can review my notes. So let's move on. We're going to do some of our standing portion now. So come to the front of your mat. I'm not going to come quite to the front because I will hit the curtains. So we're going to start by raising our arms, inhaling the arms up overhead, and exhaling, folding at the waist. We're not doing swan dive. I would go into that later, but and inhale for a flat back. Exhale for a forward fold again. Plant your hands on the mat and either step or hop back to either down dog, straight into down dog, or you can come with me and we'll do the full vinyasa, the full flow. So come into plank, lower down on the exhale, inhale into upward facing dog, and then as we exhale, now we come back into downward facing dog. Now let's just walk our dogs a little bit. So we're going to lift our heels, pedal the feet a little bit, just getting that stretch in the back of our legs. And we'll come back to center. All right? So now we're going to do a three-legged dog and transition. So raise your right leg up into the air like this. We're going to bend at the knee, and we will swing it through as far as you can and plant the foot. If you can't get it quite to the front between your feet, you can pick your foot up and put it there. So, and then we will come up, planting that back heel for warrior one. And if you would like, you can raise your arms back over your head to get a nice back bend. Breathe here. Come back with the arms straight overhead. We are going to shift so that the back foot rotates out so that the toes point towards the wall for me. And we're going to lower our arms out to a T shape and really get low. This is warrior two. And our gaze is over the front fingers. Just feeling very strong, opening up through the inside of our legs and our hips. breathing here. On the next inhale, I want you to straighten that front knee. Pretend somebody has grabbed your wrist and is pulling you forward, forward, forward until you can be pulled forward no more. And then I want you to bend at the waist and come into triangle pose. So with triangle pose, you can grab wherever you can. So if you can grab about the middle of your calf, if you can get to your ankle, that's fine too. Or can you get to the floor? You want your shoulders to be stacked on top of one another, and you're going to feel this all through your hamstrings. It's a great stretch. It's very good for you, and you're also going to feel it through here. And on your next inhale, somebody's grabbed your top arm and is pulling you back up, back into Warrior Two by bending that front knee. Okay. And now we'll go ahead, bend the front arm, place the elbow on your knee, and raise your arm up overhead for extended side angle. And you're going to feel this all through the side as we open up through there. Open through the ribs. And from here, we're going to cartwheel our arms back to the floor and step back into either down dog or with me into our plank pose. And we'll come down on the exhale to low plank. Inhale for up dog, exhale for down dog. And we'll do it on the other side. And actually, hold your dog for a second. I'm going to switch so you're not looking at my butt. So, left, knee comes forward, and we'll plant that back heel, arms go up for Warrior One, bend backwards, and on the next exhale, rotate that back foot and come into your Warrior Two, really sinking. And breathe, feeling strong. And on your next exhale, straighten that front leg. Someone grabs your front arm, pulls you forward, and you bend at the waist for triangle. Breathing here, breathing all through the inside of your leg. On your next inhale, come on back up into Warrior Two, bending that front knee. Bend your front arm, place it on your knee, and raise your arm up overhead for extended side angle on this side. Really enjoying that stretch through your rib cage. And once again, on the next exhale, cartwheel your arms back to the floor. Step back, either back into down dog or come to plank. Exhale for low. Inhale for up dog. And exhale for down dog. And from here, we'll come to our knees for a rest in child's pose. You can place your hands out in front or behind, whatever is more comfortable for you right now. So while you're in child's pose, I'm just going to ask you to recognize any emotions that you may be feeling right now. As we're opening up our sides and our hips and a little bit of our chest, we might be loosening up some stuff that we might have been holding on to. Are you feeling anything right now? Just recognize it, just acknowledge that it's there as you sit in this very safe pose, a child's pose. Just breathe here. Really enjoying that opening in the low back. So I'll join you again, child's pose. And now we will come up to our hands and our knees and push back up into down dog. One more time. And then step forward. And actually here, I would like you to step a little bit outside of your comfort zone. We can think of our mat as our comfort zone, right? So I would like for you to take our feet just off of the mat. And I want you to bend your knees and just ragdoll. This is ragdoll. You're just going to relax into this, really opening, another way to open up our low back here. So this is about how wide I have my feet. And we're just going to relax. Let your arms flop forward. They can rest on the ground, or they can hold you can hold your elbows. And the important thing here is to allow your neck to be free. So just maybe shake your head yes, shake it no. Just let's spend a few breaths here. And then to come up, we will place our hands on the tops of our legs, on our quadriceps, and we will help ourselves come back up, inhaling as we do, and return to the mat, to our safe space. Okay, so now we're going to play around with our balance. So if you're not already at the front of your mat, come to the front of your mat. If it's easier for you to be on a level surface, like off of your mat to balance, I would step off now. So balance is very much affected by our emotion, right? You might struggle a little bit with this, but don't worry about it. Just observe, okay? So let's start by raising our right leg and bending the knee. Just see how you stand. Are you going to be flopping a little bit? Are you waving your arms, trying to stay balanced? That's okay. Or are you pretty stable right now? And we'll lower and do it on the other side. So let's raise our left leg. Arms can be anywhere. They can be out. They can be down by our sides. If you want, you can raise your hands up overhead. Just whatever helps you to stay balanced. And lower. Okay, so let's play a little bit with our tree pose. So come into tree pose. We're going to shift our weight onto let's start with the right foot. So we'll shift the weight into the right foot, open our left leg, and bring the left foot to the right ankle. And from here you can leave your foot on the ground if that's how you're feeling today, that's fine. Or you can raise your foot to your calf muscle or up and over the knee. We don't want to put our foot on the knee. This is not natural for the knee to be pushed out like that. All right, so below or above the knee or on the floor. And hands, again, can be anywhere. They can be in namaste, up overhead, down by our sides, whatever is helpful for you to stay balanced in this position, okay? Just breathing here, and you're going to focus your gaze on something. On the next exhale, bring everything back to the floor. And let's do it on the other side. So shift all of your weight into your left foot. Open up that right leg, open up the right hip. Bring your right foot to your left ankle and either bring it up, leave it where it is if you want, bring it up to the calf muscle or above the knee. And again, namaste, full tree with the arms up overhead, whatever you would like to do. And we're just channeling our inner tree. Trees are very flexible, but they're also very stable in the earth, right? And we need to shift our perspective and do the same as the fairies card has asked us to do. And on your next exhale, return to the ground. Okay, so let's add some twisting now too. So we're going to start by shift our weight into our left foot, and we'll start with raising our right leg and the arms. And exhale back to the ground. Let's do it on the other side. So lift our left leg, arms up overhead, and back down. Once again on the right side, so right leg comes up, arms come up. And now I would like for you to push your chest forward a little bit so that your ribs come out and your shoulder blades start going back towards one another. And your elbows bend and spread your fingers wide for a cactus pose. And now, as we inhale, we'll twist slightly to the left. And on your next exhale, twist towards that bent knee to the right. And this is our Shiva pose. Shiva is the destroyer, and we can channel his energy to destroy our own fears. Inhale out of the twist. Exhale, everything comes back to the floor. And let's do it on the other side. So, left leg comes up, arms up overhead. And we'll start to bend our elbows. Shoulder blades come back towards one another as the chest puffs forward. And let me turn to the side so you can see it from the side. Oh, actually, let me turn this way. And as we inhale, we'll turn slightly to the right. Exhale to the left. You want to keep your arms pretty much in line with one another here. Feeling strong, feeling capable of facing your fears and anxieties. Inhale back to center. Exhale everything to the floor again. Okay, and there's one more pose I'd like for us to do before we start to cool down. And let's send this energy that we're about to create to our Earth, our planet, so that she can continue to heal as we are also healing. So let's spread our feet wide, and actually I would very much like for you to come off of your mat again. So you're standing like this, right? I'm going to face you so you can see, but I want you to stand off of your mat. So we're going to take our feet very wide apart. Our toes are going to face outwards, and our heels are going to be closer to one another than our toes. So from here, we're going to bend our knees and come into a squat. You're going to feel this all through the tops of your legs, on your quads and your gluteals and on your hamstrings. You're going to feel this. It's really going to feel the heat too and in your core. All right, so from here we're going to bring our arms back up and do the cactus arms again. And this is our goddess pose. So let's channel our inner goddesses. We all have feminine and masculine energies in us. And this is our feminine energy. And we'll channel this thinking of our Mother Earth, thinking of the planet, so that she might heal while we are inside, if that's something that you can do right now. So feeling strong. One more breath. And then on your next inhale, gently come up and return your feet to one another and come back into your mountain pose. I had to move the camera. This is actually as far back as it will go without being on the wall. So you will not be able to see my head for a couple seconds, but that's okay because we're going to start coming to the floor now. So I wanted you to be able to see me on the floor as well. All right, so if you want to, you can just come straight to your hands and knees. Otherwise, you can flow with me through the vinyasa section. So come to the front of your mat, and I'll stand tall. You won't be able to see my head, but inhale as you bring the arms up overhead. Exhale and bend at the waist to fold forward. Inhale for a flat back, putting your hands on your shins. Exhale for forward fold again. Let's plant our hands, step back into plank. Exhale as we lower into low plank. Inhale for up dog. Exhale for down dog. And from here, we'll just come to our hands and knees and then cross our legs and sit back. So let me turn so you can see me. This is where you're going to pull out your blanket. So grab your blanket about this wide, and then from here we're going to start rolling it up. Just roll it up so that it looks like a tasty treat of some kind. And then you're going to place that on your mat behind you and leave about a fist width away from your sacrum, and then just come back onto it and melt. And this is supported fish pose. Your legs, they can be crossed, they can be in cobbler pose, which is where your hips are very wide open and your feet are together, or you can put your feet out and leave the legs long. Arms, they should be somewhere comfortable. Just relax here. And while you're enjoying fish pose, I wanted to read to you the North Node entry from the Moonology Oracle Card Guidebook. I feel like it's very pertinent right now. Things are definitely changing, and we might not understand the full perspective, the whole picture, but we can apply it to ourselves right now. So there's a strong feeling when you get this card that it's time to leave the past behind somehow, because you are headed in the right direction. If you want to be happy and fulfilled, you need to get going towards doing things that scare you within reason. This card is all about living your life purpose, which is possibly what you asked about. It's urging you to dare to do something different with your life and your direction, to take action. So are you willing to follow through and lead the life you've incarnated to live? If you finally find the courage to make the leap, there's a good chance you'll come to ask yourself, why did I wait so long? So maybe think about a situation you've been sitting on, even if it's not just a creative project. Maybe you're thinking about changing jobs, maybe not right now, in this pandemic time that we're living right now, but you've been thinking about doing something differently with your life, maybe a career change of some kind. So something is in your life right now that you've been thinking about changing, even if that's a diet, a health habit. Just think about why you're waiting, what you're waiting for. Maybe now is the time, right? And you might, in a few months, you might think, why did I wait so long to do this? All right? All right, so let me join you again in fish pose. And from here, I want you to roll to one side or the other and come off of that blanket. And let's just push it to the side. Either behind us, onto the side of the mat, whatever, and come to a flat back. Neutral spine. And now let's bend our knees and place our feet flat on the floor, and we'll just do some windshield wipers. We're just going to move our knees as if they were windshield wipers. So as you exhale, the knees drop to the side. Inhale, the knees come back to center, and as you exhale, they go to the other side. And you just keep doing this with your own breath. Just feels good after a slight back bend, right? On your next inhale, come back to center, and we're going to bring our feet a little bit closer to our back sides. And we are going to do some bridges. So as we inhale, our hips are going to move up. So as we inhale, push your hips up, and this is bridge. And we'll just do it just like this for now. And as you exhale, gently come back to the floor slowly. And on your next inhale, push your hips back up again. Maybe you can bring your feet in a little bit closer. Your heels should be about hips width distance apart from one another, by the way. And see, maybe if you can clasp your hands behind your back, if that's something you want to do, and push a little bit higher. Or maybe you can reach for your ankles and hold on to your ankles. And then on your next exhale, let's return to the floor again. And we'll do it one more time. So push as high up as you can go within reason. All right, so inhale, push your hips up. Maybe bring your feet a little bit closer again to your hands so you can grab your ankles or clasp your hands together and really, really reach up for the full bridge. Again, remembering to breathe here. And on your next exhale, release your hands and come back to the floor. Good. Great. And from here, we are going to just take our hips and shift them to the left slightly. So pick your bottom up and move it to the left a little bit. And we will take our knees and let them fall to the right for some reclined supine twists. Make sure your hips here are stacked on top of one another and that your left shoulder is still on the mat. So if your knees are not quite reaching, this is where that blanket can come in handy again, and you can put that blanket under your knees to make the floor come to you. But make sure your shoulder is, again, on the floor still. And from here, if your neck is okay with this, you can look off to the left for the full reclined twist. And we'll just hang out here for a little bit. Just really enjoy that squeezing and soaking of our internal organs. And I'm going to enjoy this with you. On your next inhale, you'll return your neck to look up, and your knees will come up as well, and return to center. Now let's shift everything off to the right. So move your hips to the right, and the knees will come down to the left. And if you would like, you can turn your neck and look to the right. Making sure, once again, that your hips are stacked on top of one another and that your shoulder is on the ground. And if you like, you can gently close your eyes and just enjoy the squeeze and soak of this twist. And on your next inhale, Return your neck so that you are looking up, and bring your knees back up to center. And from here, we'll just let our legs lie flat on the floor, and you can come and set yourself up for final relaxation, Shavasana. This is a very important part of our yoga practice to really finally relax. It's a very calming position to be lying down in. So I'd like for you to maybe set a timer for 15 or 20 minutes if you can, and do a final relaxation for that long. And I'm going to stop the video right here, and I'll see you in a second so I have another 10 minutes. Okay, so while you're setting up for Shavasana, your final relaxation, I just want to take a moment and say thank you very much for joining me in this practice. It's been a lot of fun putting this video together for you. So we'll see where this channel goes. Again, feel free to leave a comment with words of encouragement or things that you really enjoyed about this particular session. I look forward to hopefully hearing from you. Leave a like, maybe consider subscribing, and again, I have an Instagram. Again, it's mostly pictures of things I've baked and eaten, but feel free to give me a follow over there. The link to my Instagram will be in the description section down below as well, but it's Charmed Asana on Instagram. And with that, I will say namaste. Thank you very much again. And I will chime you in for your Shavasana. Thank you. Namaste.